got some it's interesting how many strategies exist in our business, but my strategy today is to talk to you about texting. Yesterday I picked up my phone and I had a person I left a message for a client and they were like, well, just go ahead and text me. It's much easier and much faster to get a hold of me. So I did some research and came back with how important texting has become and how etiquette is important in that process. So what I'm going to offer you is 8 ways to build your relationships with your clients through texting. It is definitely the tool of the future, and knowing how to do it and how to make it important in your business will bring you engagement and connection. So it's really, I think, vital in the real estate business to understand that it is a part of your business, not just a task at hand due to a client who's saying, all I want to do is text. Research has indicated that 73% of real estate business comes out on text message. So if it's that high, how are you providing excellent service in a more efficient way for your business? So the number one thing is, do you really have a plan on texting? Have you ever investigated how to create custom text messages, which you can do on your phone through settings, that communicate to your customer consistently? Very, very important part of that. There's actually a list of 6 different ways to do that have actual scripts. So if you are interested in texting me, I'll have Teresa add my phone number into the chat. It's 303-330-9453. And I'd be more than willing to send you that list with some actual scripts on how you should go about doing that. It starts out with the thank you text. You talk to a client, you connect with the client, and you want to be able to just text them and say, thank you for coming or being with me and letting me know I can make a difference in your business. Number 2 is the marketing script. So sending them a market update about your location and what's happening in the market. There's a really cool script for that. There's a community information text, which you could do maybe in the first week that you're conversing with your client. A selfie video would be really awesome. Just wanting to say, hey, our next appointment is on this day. So glad we're interacting with one another. So you're making it more humanistic and using that process to communicate with your client. And finally, it's the meeting text when you re-meet with your client to talk about how you're going to sell their house or how you're going to buy their new land. And there's some very specific verbiage for that. So if you're interested, text me at my actual phone number. It's 303-330-9453. Now, there are a few things to know about texting. One is you should follow texting regulations. Believe it or not, there are some things that are very important. One is you need to get permission from your client that you can text them. You'll build a better relationship with them in your business. So getting their permission is critical. Texting during normal business hours, super important. We love to text in the middle of the night or early in the morning. I apologize, I did that to my 2 cohorts here this morning. But from 8 to 8 is kind of the structured time that you can communicate with your clients. Text etiquette is always suggested. Just being professional, right? It's a place where what you don't want to do is send out kind of humorous things. You want to stay professional in the process. There are some spam trigger words out there that will spam your SMS, which I was very interested to read about, which means they will give you more spam phone calls back. So things like 100% or number 1 or the abbreviation of 4U with a 4 and a U. There's a lot of words out there. If you go out to the Google and you just say spam trigger words, those are the words that you should not use in your text messages. So I was very surprised to find that the list is very extensive. And I thought, wow, I should probably not use these words in my text messages to keep it out of my spam folder. Don't write a novel. I have a girlfriend who writes me a novel and I'm like, I don't have time for this. So shorten your text messages, make them simple and short and concise. Secondly, they should be positive and friendly. This is not a place for the bad deal that's going on that you need to communicate with your client. There, you'd rather pick up the phone and talk to them. So you should always start your text with a friendly greeting. I tried that today. It takes a little bit more time, but it also makes the receiver feel more connected to you and for you to get a response. Lastly, make sure that your text messages are personalized, right, to the individual that you're working with. You know, some people think they can pass over a text that's kind of generic. People like to know that they're important in the process when you're actually talking to them. Images. When you're doing, for instance, if you're texting listing information, images are very, very important. People love to look at their phone and see an image. So if you're sharing a home with someone, make sure to include images in that. And finally, make sure that your text creates a reaction, what I would call a call to action button. Make sure that the customer has some instructions, but that you're requiring them to reconnect with you. And as a receiver of text messages, you should always, to Carrie's point earlier, you should always respond, even if it's just a short note or anything. People are intrigued by the phone. Most of their business is being done on the phone. They're not sitting in front of their computer anymore. So know that building text messaging into your business for me was like, wow, I'm really not thinking so much about that. I'm just using it as a tool to communicate. But if I make myself professional in that window, I'll be much better at getting a response and also be much more engaged. So again, if you have any questions about that or you'd like to have those scripts, I am more than willing to send you those. I also wanted to let you know that next week we start our weekly series with interviews with powerful women that work for Coldwell Banker. And we will have Kelly Rolling Smoke from Bozeman on our actual call next week. And then we have Beverly and Michaela Shook from Twin Falls, and then Jen Peterson from Grand Junction. And our objective is to just talk to them about what made them come into this business, why is it unique, and how have they survived, and what are the challenges of being a woman in this business. So do join us next week for those 3 people throughout the month of April. We'll be talking to them one-on-one about their businesses.